Well, look, I think both South Korea and Japan are perfectly happy to be loyal allies of the United States. Both of those countries have built their security postures around support from the United States. The problem is the United States, which has, made these tariff demands. It's made demands that they spend more on their national defense. That might be a good thing in itself, but certainly the United States is the one that has made this into a make or break issue for those alliances. So I think that really the question is whether the United States is going to continue to, for example, offer a credible nuclear guarantee to these countries, whether it's going to support them in the case of North Korean aggression. And then we have this larger region-wide issue of Taiwan, because I think that any attempt to defend or at least deter a Chinese attack on Taiwan is going to depend on, close cooperation between, South Korea, Japan, and the United States. And that's something that the Korean election, raised a little bit, because the Democratic Party there has traditionally been, a bit closer to China and more critical of the United States than the Conservative Party.
Yeah, so maybe not with this administration in South Korea, but every now and then when we go through election cycles, this nuclear conversation comes up, especially among the right-wing or conservative voters and supporters in South Korea. And perhaps that this is going to be a thing for countries like South Korea and Japan, sort of feeling that encouragement to arm themselves with nuclear weapons. And in fact, this is not going to be a desirable outcome for the U.S. as well as China.
Well, I think that this is one of the unintended consequences of this America First policy. If you're not going to be a reliable ally that provides a nuclear umbrella for countries that are dependent on you, then they're going to look to their own interests. Now, I think that neither Japan nor Korea is really at all eager to go down this route. So I think we're talking about something that's a little bit more theoretical here. And I think that in the case of Japan, they don't actually have to build a nuclear capacity. A lot of experts seem to think that they're about a year away from having a nuclear weapon if they really decided they wanted one, and they may feel that that's enough of a protection. But this is why the world that we are entering in with this new administration, where everybody is being asked to go it alone, is a more dangerous world for everybody, because I don't think that nuclear weapons proliferation is going to benefit any part of the world, regardless of where it occurs.
Dr. Fukuyama, we don't have a lot of time, so quick last question from me. Everything we've been talking about, right, the shift to the right globally, is this just a phase? All the othering, right? Closing of borders, right? Focus on internally on individual countries, etc. Is it going to swing back?
Well, I hope it'll swing back. I'm afraid, however, that this does represent a longer-term trend where I think a lot of the old kind of liberal world order ideas are being supplanted by others that are more nationalistic, that are focused on national, narrow sense of national self-interest. And I think that even if you didn't have Donald Trump, you have a Republican Party in the United States that's committed to those sorts of ideas. The American example is one that's being imitated by a lot of countries around the world. So I hope that we return to a greater degree of internationalism, but I really think the likelihood that we'll go back to the world as it existed before 2016 is pretty low.